I know.
So a lot of our officials basically sent that message.
Number 1, who got A? Okay, number 1, who got B? C? D. All right, Evan, good job. The answer is actually D. So, guys, here's where I think we made our mistake. I'm not really sure kind of how you got A, actually, because order of operations say multiply first. So that's 6 times 3, which is 18. Then subtract, so you get D. Okay, next. Number 2, how many of us got A? B? C? D? Madison, what'd you get? Okay, well, you didn't raise your hand, or I didn't see it. So in number 2, you first add 15 and 3 to get 18. Times that by 2 to get 36. Multiply 11 by 2 to get 22. 36 minus 22 is in fact C, 14. Number 3, how many of us got A? D? C? I didn't say B yet. I said B now. I was just confusing you. I went all over. So what did you get, Evan? I got B too. What'd you get, Maddie? Okay. We gave you lots of time. Didn't finish it because you need help? All right. So we should have A times 10 squared minus 8 times 5 all over, why did I write A? Four times 5. So order of operations say you square first. And then you multiply. So we can do all our multiplication. And then simplify. Okay, so we are looking at the properties of equality today. Today is a lot of vocab. I'm sorry. So, yeah, vocab. An equivalent expression is 2 expressions that represent the same number. The additive identity is the sum of any number A and negative A is equal to that same number A. Sorry. I was thinking, I wrote down inverse. Probably helps if I pay attention to what I'm writing. I literally, like, in my Algebra 2 class, I'm doing the same lesson, but in their notes, inverse comes before identity. Like, I taught this today. So an example of that would be A plus 0 equals A, or 0 plus a number like 5 equals 5. The order you add the 0 and the A doesn't matter. Now I can write down my negative A. A number and its opposite aka negative A, are called additive inverses. An example would be A plus negative A equals 0. Okay, we have the multiplicative identity. So the multiplicative identity says, what's a good word for multiplication? What do we use for multiplication? Times. So the fancier word for times is product. So the product of any number A and 1, so 1 is the identity of multiplication, is equal to the same number A. And again, 1 is the multiplicative identity. So 8 times 1 equals 8. Or A times 1 equals A. Anything multiplied by 1 is equal to itself. The multiplicative property of 0 says the product of A and 0 is 0. The multiplication of A times 0 is 0. Pretty easy stuff, right? The inverse says two numbers whose products are 1 are called multiplicative inverses. A reciprocal is another name for the multiplicative inverse. This is an interesting fact. 0 has no reciprocal. So inverses would look like A and 1 over A. You could have the example 4/9. Its inverse is 9/4. If you multiply them together, you get 1. Good? Great? Grand? You want to join the band? Because they're so quiet today. So basically what I did is kind of summarized all these for you. That's on that front page. Everything we just put down in definitions is on that front page. All right, Madison, if I multiply by 1, what property is that? You got it. So I'll give you a hint. If I multiply, perfect. So guys, you can write the multiplicative. If you do not want to write down that whole word, write down M-U-L-T. Identity. Mr. Evan, if I add opposites together and I get 0, if I add opposites together and get 0, what is that? Yes. Jacob. 9 times 0 equals 0. Man, I didn't fix my paper again. 9 times 0 equals 0. Fix your paper, guys. I can't type. 9 times 0 is not 9. 9 times 0 equals 0. If we multiply by 0, yep. I'm a math teacher. I don't like to write. I really shorten words. So property, you can write prop. All right, how about 1/2 times 2 equals 1 now? So it's not the same as example 1. It's a little bit different. 1/2 times 2 equals 1. Guesses? Perfect. At least I can do math this time. 2 plus 0 equals 2. 2 plus 0 equals 2. Anybody have a guess? We're adding. Perfect. All right, so the last set of properties, I always like to give examples that kind of make sense. So if you think about the word reflexive, it kind of has the word reflection in there. So if you look in a mirror, you see your reflection. So A is equal to A. If you look in the mirror, you see you. Or if you're like me and you have your webcam on and I have the camera facing me, I see me. So that's my reflection. I see the same thing as what I am. Any number is only equal to itself. The symmetric property is kind of like the commutative property. It says if A equals B, then B equals A. It's saying you can change the order you write it down. So I could say A equals 11 or 11 equals A. They mean the same thing. The transitive property is kind of where you combine two problems together. So A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So then A has to equal C too. And then the substitution, we use substitution all the time. Anytime you replace something with something else, you're substituting it. So substitute teachers replace your teachers sometimes. In the case of this, a number replaces a variable, or if you simplify two numbers to equal a single number. So I think it's helpful to go and see how these are like A and B's. Sometimes when I look at the properties here, I kind of put like the letter or underlining under them. So this would kind of be like A equals B, then B equals A. Because this matches this and that matches that. So if A equals B, then B equals A. What property says that? Madison? Perfect. If n equals 11, then 4n equals 4 times 11. So A equals B replaces it in the problem. This one's a little trickier to see. But if you replace something in the problem, it's substitution. All right, this is the hardest one we have. 5 equals 5. Super hard, right? What'd you get, Evan? 5 equals 5. Which property? Yeah. Okay. 6 plus 9 equals 3 plus 12. What? And 3 plus 12 equals 15. Then 6 plus 9 equals 15. What property does that look like? A equals B, B equals C, A equals C. Good. Perfect. All right, Jacob, I haven't picked on you in a while. How about that last one? 4 plus 7 equals 7 plus 4. Perfect. So that summarizes us for today. So you have the remainder of time to start on your assignment. Whatever you don't finish is due